Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial, we are going to be making these awesome super duper crocheted zipper bags. I'm not going to open it all the way because I didn't weave my ends in. See them? Now I think this is just the coolest design on the inside too. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Walmart sells reversible zippers so you can flip, in and out. We'll talk about that in a second. Anyhow, so these little crocheted zipper bags are really cute and easy to make, and I think they would just make the cutest little pencil cases or makeup cases, or you know what else that I thought? Because sometimes we go to places and I just don't feel like carrying around my big purse. Like all I'm going to need is a little bit of cash and my phone. So I got to thinking, I bet if you, attach here, chain a long chain, then you could just use this as a crossbody bag when you go to those places that maybe you just need some cash and just put your phone in there. Works great. Okay, so these are super cute, and you can see I tried a different like color scheme. Like this one I did with the dark and then the light as the squares, and then this one I did the light and then the dark as the squares, and I think it's cute. And then I just kind of wanted to do a fun little zipper on this one, kind of like on this one too. And this one was not easy to do, crocheting it in black. All right, let's talk about the supplies you're gonna need. Okay, so the supplies you're gonna need, we're going to start with the yarn. So I'm using Red Heart Super Saver on these. Like on this one, I used white and charcoal gray, and then orange, and I believe that's cobalt maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But it's just regular old Red Heart Super Saver yarn. So any 4-weight yarn will work. I did, well, I mean, you can see on these, I've only done the 2-color. I don't think a third color would look good. I'd stick with just the 2 colors. So get your 2 colors of yarn picked out. And then you're going to need a 7-inch all-purpose closed zipper. Now, I could be 100% wrong, but I'm pretty sure closed means that little clasp right there closes the end of the zipper. I've never done it with an open one. I don't know. I think you should probably just get a closed one. But anyway, so you're going to need one of these. They sell these at Walmart, and I think I got this one at Hobby Lobby. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember. But you're going to need one of those. And then you're going to need something that you can write on the zipper with. Like, you wouldn't obviously want to do that purple, but something that you can write on the zipper with that you can see, but it's not going to be permanent. So this was my best option. I think they have black ones too, but what these are for sewing and for like quilting. So you can, mark lines on your material and then it just disappears after a while. So they have the disappearing ink or the mark be gone, which you just get it a little, get it wet a little and it'll come right off. And I think they have a pin too, but I do not recommend using not like if you're going to use, like if I had a white zipper and let's say, I had just a regular old pin and I'm marking along there, that's going to stand out and be so bright. That's the first thing that's going to be seen. But since this is air and water soluble, that's just going to go away after a while. So definitely get something, look in your sewing section at Walmart or craft stores and look for disappearing ink or water-soluble pens or something that you can make lines on your zipper without, and they're going to go away. So you're going to need that, and then you're going to need a tape measure. And I want you to make sure your tape measure has 1/4 inch marks that are pretty obvious to see, because we are going to lay this tape measure along the zipper and we're going to make a line at every 1/4 inch. So 0, 1/4, half, 3/4, 1, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2, and so on. We're going to make a little line at every 1/4 inch. So make sure your tape measure has a good 1/4 inch line. You're going to need a pair of scissors, a stitch marker, a needle to weave in all of the hundreds of ends you're going to have that I didn't weave in any of mine. And you're going to need 2 crochet hooks. Now, the first one is well, I shouldn't say first one. The first one I'm going to show you is a 4.5 millimeter hook. That's the size of hook that we're going to use to work the majority of our little bag. So from here down is a 4.5. Now, I have a 2.75 millimeter hook. You don't need a 2.75, but you're going to need something small, because what we're going to do, this kind of leads me into our next supply, is a little pair of, I call these like manicure set fingernail, or not fingernail, but scissors. You're going to need a small pair of scissors or something small that you can take. And what we're going to do is all those lines we make on the 1/4 inch lines, we're going to take this pair of scissors or whatever tool you have that makes a hole that you can get into. And I'm just going to do it right now and show you. And we're going to pop that through there and push it down a little bit to make that hole a little bit bigger. Do that all the way around, and then we're going to take our smaller hook and go in there, and then we're going to single crochet all the way around it with this small hook. So no, it doesn't necessarily have to be a 2.75 millimeter hook, but yes, it needs to be small enough for you to get into, because if it's too big, all you're going to be doing is just re-poking your hole into the zipper material. So you're going to need a small pair of scissors, like a manicure set pair of scissors. Or if you guys, I just dropped my ring. If you guys have something, you know, oops, the only thing that keeps coming into my head that I think that maybe some people may want to try is a seam ripper. And I've tried that and it does not work. It's too little. So the best thing I could come up with, you know, are the little manicure set scissors. So get you a manicure scissors or something that you think could work good. And then a smaller hook that you can poke through the hole that you're going to poke through. All right. So no, it doesn't have to be 2.75, but it needs to be a small crochet hook. And I think that's it, guys. So something else I want to talk about is, if you noticed, the pattern of this stitch design creates a box around a little, those are single crochets. And we repeat that all the way around. But there is one point at the very beginning that we don't have that design. And that's why I wanted to try to keep it to the side as best as I could, because you don't see it unless you look at the side. So that's why we, use a stitch marker all the way down the side, and always start there, because that's where it's going to create the seam that doesn't have the dot inside the square. And one more thing I do want to talk about. So I've made a couple of these. I've made 4 or 5 of them. One of them I gave away. But as you're making them, if you happen to notice, like I noticed it happened to me twice. Some of these, as you're working them, they're going to want to like set like that. They want to warp a little bit. And basically what that is, that's from the zipper. So it could be the single crochets are too tight around the zipper, or we pack too many in there. Whatever the reason is, there's 2 things we can do to fix that. The first thing we can do is throw it in the washer and then throw it in the dryer on low setting for like 15 minutes, just to loosen that up, and it should come out of it. The second thing we can do is, if you have a fabric steamer or your iron has a steam setting on it, turn it up on high, get that thing nice and hot, and blast this zipper with that steam. And tug on it, and, get everything to loosen up around that zipper. And that's what I did for mine. Like, I think this one was really bad. Like it laid like that. And that's what I did with mine, was use that steam, and now it lays good. And what I was saying about the reversible zippers, I think maybe Walmart has ones that I don't know if they're 7-inch or not, but I think they're reversible. So you could use one of those and, you know, this could be your inside or your outside. And then this pretty design could be your outside or, you know, or your inside. Anyway, I'm done yapping. Let's get our stuff together and let's get started. Okay, guys, so I wanted to jump back on here real quick because I forgot to mention that the round repeat is round 7, 8, and 9, and 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, 8, 9, 10, okay? So that is going to be your round repeat. I tell you in the video, I mean, obviously, but I feel like I didn't touch on it enough, so I wanted to cut this little video in here and to make sure everybody knows. It's the round repeat for the pattern is 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, back to the video. Okay guys, to get started with our zipper bag, we are first going to take our zipper and we're going to take our zipper and we're going to pop it out of this little case. Alright, and we're going to take our tape measure and we're going to set it on here. And what we're going to do is take a marker or a pen, whatever you want to use. I'm going to use one of these disappearing ink for sewing stuff. It says air and water soluble. Whenever you use these, I just basically just let it drip in a little bit of water to get it off, because it doesn't just come off with air. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go down the side of our zipper here, and we're going to make a little mark at 1/4 of an inch all the way down. The thing is, I want them to be as close to the edge of the zipper right here, not here, because the closer it is to the edge, the bigger the hole is going to be right there. So if I can get them as close to here, and same thing down here, around this edge, not this edge. And what we're trying to do is get 32 on each side, okay? And it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, as long as we get 32. So I'm just going to go here and I'm going to start with my 0-inch line. And I'm just going to come straight like that. And then I'm going to come to the next 1/4 inch. And I'm going to come out this way. So the next 1/4 inch is a 1/2 inch. Three-quarter inch. An inch. So now what we can do, since we're going along the straight edge now, is we can pull this tape measure out a little bit, like pull it off of the actual, you know, metal part of the zipper and make a long line so we can have that whole line to work with. So here is the 0-inch. Right there is the 1/4 inch. Right here is a 1/2. Right here is 3/4. And there's 1 inch. So basically, like on my tape measure, it's the longer lines, just in case, you know, you guys may have anyone has a harder time. It's the longer lines that we're going to do. So between 1 and 2 inch, you should have 1, 2, 3. All right, so here is that one, the 1/2, the, oops, forgot the 1/4, 3/4, 1 inch. Here, 1/2, 3/4, 1 inch. Having the long lines like this kind of help when we poke the holes. What are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Line that back up. 29. And now I'm going to start angling this. So I got 29. There's 30. 31. And here's 32. All right. So if you guys can see that, can you see how I'm angling these last ones? Because I want to be able to come around as close to the butt right here and the zipper. Like I said, because if the farther you come down to work around, the bigger the hole is going to be on our zipper bag. All right, so now we just flip and repeat that across. And actually, honestly, all you'd have to do is just kind of mirror what you've got going on right there. And like I said, these don't have to be exactly the same. Because I'll tell you what, when we start poking the holes in this, they're not going to be perfect. So for what to use, for what to use to make your lines, I would definitely suggest something that's going to disappear, or you're just going to have a bunch of lines in your zipper. Angle that one and angle that one. Okay, so that was easy, right? I'm going to let this set here for a second. So if, you know, maybe you guys just want to try to copy what I have going on here. All right. So now we are going to move on to poking the holes in the zipper. Now, if you have something better than what I have, because I just have this pair of, oh, what are these? For manicures. I can't get the word out. Manicure set scissors. That's basically all these are. And I like them because they have a really thin and wide like blades at the end. But it is just as easy to do it with a pair that have, you know, the straighter tip at the end. It's just as easy because it actually, this will probably be better because it actually pokes a hole and not, you know, as opposed to a slit in the zipper. Oh, for Pete's sake, I'm dropping everything, knocking everything down. There, try those. Okay, so basically all I'm going to do is just start coming down here and poking a hole into each of my dashes. So I'm holding the scissors, and then I'm holding my zipper, and I'm just poking it through. And there's a little hole right there. Actually, I think I'm just going to use these thin ones. I think it's going to work better. So go to the next slice. The next line. I can't get my words out. And then just keep doing this all the way down the zipper. And you can see sometimes the fibers get stuck on the end of the scissors, so you may just cut these little fibers here. Like, this is no way near a perfect science. And another thing, whenever you're poking these holes, don't poke up here at the edge, right? Because all you're going to do is just slice that open. Come down here closer to the zipper. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work this all the way down till we get to these last couple dashes, lines, whatever they are, not slices. And I will meet you guys when we get to that end, okay? I'll be back. Okay, so I kind of got on a little bit of a roll. I forgot to come back, but I've worked into this line, and I've got this last one, and I want to try to keep it, you know, as close to this butt as possible without ripping open this other hole. So I'm going to come right into here. There. So I've worked all the way across this top right here, okay? So now we're just going to follow that same thing on the other side. Okay, so I'm just going to start. Okay, so just repeat this down to the end, and when I get to this last one, I'll come back and we will start attaching our yarn. Okay, I'm coming to the end, and I've got 2 more holes that I need to work into, so I'm going to start coming closer to the edge right here. And right there. Okay, so we have officially poked all our holes. Now we are going to move on to attaching our yarn into all these holes. So this is when that smaller hook comes in, and the only time we're going to use it. Okay, so I have my 2.75. Now remember, it doesn't have to be exactly the 2.75. It can be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. But I'm going to work, like this one, I'm going to work the dark color first, and then the light color is going to be what pops. But you can definitely do the light color and then the dark color be what pops out. And by pop, I mean like stands out. So I'm going to get my gray yarn. I'm going to get a slip knot on my hook. And I'm going to start into the very first hole we worked right here. Now, obviously, you know, we all know working with a 2.75 millimeter hook with a size 4 yarn is not going to be the easiest. So once we get past this first row, it's going to fly by. So I'm just going to pop through there, and I'm going to work a slip stitch. I'm going to tighten up that slip stitch. Now I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to go right back into that same stitch with a single. Okay, and I'm going to find that next hole. It helps sometimes to look at the back where the frayed material is. It's right there. And now I'm going to increase into this one. I didn't increase into the first one just because, you know, we've already got so much stitches in there. And now all I'm going to do is single crochet through all these holes down to the end, okay? And like I said, flip it over if you need a better view of where your hook needs to go, because sometimes those holes are a little harder to find. And single. I'm working these singles as loosely as I can since I have such a small hook. All right, so go ahead and single crochet all the way down, and I'm going to meet you before we work these last few stitches right here, okay? The last few singles, I mean. So I'm just going to single crochet loosely, and, you know, look at the back, see all the frayed material. It kind of gives you an idea, in case you can't see anymore, where your hole is, all right? Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm coming to the last few single crochet, or holes I should say, and I'm just gonna you can just continue what I've been doing. Oop, poke in there. There it is. Pull it up a little. All right, now we're going to start having these last two. We're going to start having more of the zipper material in our single crochet, which that's perfectly normal. Just kind of let it fold in on itself a little. Oops, did I not? Yep, I missed. I didn't catch all the strands of that single. Okay, so I'm just going to let this fold in a little and single. And now I've got that last one right there. So I'm going to try to work it. So, okay, so I've got my hook poked through that hole, right? And I've got all this material right here. I'm going to bring my yarn around the material and just fold that down. And then work my single like so. Did I catch them all? No, I didn't. Darn it. This little hook. All right, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go into that last hole. Take this little piece of zipper material, fold it down, and then bring the yarn through like this. Got it. Now I'm going to work that single. And now I'm going to work another one right back in there. We got to increase right there. Ah, come on now. Okay. So there. Now, if yours starts to bow a little bit, that's fine. That's normal. Don't worry about it. Okay, so we should have, fingers crossed, we should have 34 single crochet right through here. So I'm going to count. Fingers crossed, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Yay! Yay! Okay, so now we've made it around this end. So now we need to come to our other side, and we're going to do the same thing into this very, ooh, that's kind of hard to see. Where am I at? Right there. Into that very first hole. Now I'm just going to work the single crochet like normal. I'm going to try to bring it to the inside. So there's one, and then that one has to get another one in there. There. So now these flaps are going to be to the inside of our zippered bag. Okay, so now we increased into that one. Now we just single crochet along, just like we have been. I promise you guys, when I'm working this off camera, I do not have this much problem. All right, I'm going to finish this off camera, guys. I'll meet you down here. Okay, so I've got 2 more holes I need to work into. And if your guys' starts to bow like that, that's perfectly normal. Don't worry about that. We're going to take care of it later. Okay? So, again, just like we did at the end, we're going to have to fold our work over. Find my hole. I think it's right there. Let's see. There. So I'm going to single crochet there. And now I've got one more hole to go into. I lost it. There it is, right there. Okay, so I'm going to come to the inside and fold this back. And this last hole is going to get an increase. Which, I mean, 2 and single crochet into it. So that was 1. Get out of there. And there's 2. Okay. Here's the moment of truth, guys. 34 on this side. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Uh-oh, am I off one? Nope, because there's the increase on this side. Darn it. Let's start that over again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Darn it! I'm off by one. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these last two out. And I'm going to increase into this second to last one. So I'm going to work one more into that second to last one. And then I'm going to increase into the last one that we just did. So now that should give me 34. And we should have a total of 68. Okay? So here's the first one of this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. All right. Okay, so let's say you have over 34. Just take out one of those increases. The main goal of round one is we have to get a total of 68 single crochets. So to be on the safe side, I'm going to go straight into that first one, and I'm going to use a stitch marker, and I'm going to count all the way around. I want 68. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68. Good deal. Whew, we did it. Hardest part is over. Believe it or not, the hardest part of this whole thing is over. All right, so now we are going to work our round two. And we're not going to slip stitch. We're just going to come straight to that first single crochet. But, okay, since we've got the hardest part over, we're going to go to our 4.5 millimeter hook so we can get rid of this little bitty thing. Okay, so what we are going to do is get our 4.5 millimeter on here, and we're going to come straight to that first single crochet that we have marked, and we're going to work an increase. So don't lose your stitch, and I'm going to work over my zipper material, and I'm going to work 2 singles. Marking my first. I'm going to go right back in there with another single. Okay, so now we're going to single crochet into the next 29. And they're going to be a little tighter since we use that smaller hook. So that's 1, oops, 2, 3, Ugh. Four, 5, 6, 7. Look at her work. It's looking good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and single crochet into the next 29 and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I have done my 29, single crocheted into my 29, and now I'm going to increase into the next 4. So increase is 2 singles into 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, and one more is 4 increases. Oopsie daisy. Now I'm going to single crochet into the next 32. Now after you single crochet into 32, we should have 2 single crochets left, okay? Oh, excuse me. So go ahead and single crochet into the next 32 and I will meet you at the end. Okay, I've single crocheted into the next 32, and if I look, I have 1, 2 left. Yay, we did it right. Okay, so we're just going to increase into these last 2. 1, and the last one is 2. All right, now if we did everything right, we should have a total of 74 single crochets. And I'm not going to count these on camera. I'm going to count them off camera because you guys don't want to watch me count or listen to me count all these. All right, I'm going to count these real quick and be right back. Okay, I counted and you should have 75. I think I may have said 74. You should have 75, okay? Sorry if I said, I think I did. I don't remember. I've counted too many times. We should have 75. Oh, I forgot my stitch marker. Get it back in there. Okay, so now we're going to work rounds 2 and 3. And all we're going to, or I'm sorry, 3 and 4. And all we're going to do is single crochet into each single all the way around. So there's 1. Mark that. 2, 3, 4. All right, so this is round 3, and we're just going to single crochet into each. And then when we get back to our stitch marker, we start round 4. Mark that first single crochet again because we do not want to lose that spot. Okay? And then that'll be round 4, then single crochet around, and right when we get to the end of round 4, I'm going to come back. And then we're going to move on to round 5. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm coming around to the end of round 4. I have one more single crochet that I need to work into right there. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to slip stitch to that very first single crochet right there. So slip stitch in there, chain 1, pull up a loop, let go, and we're going to fasten off. Now I do suggest weaving in your ends as you go because there are going to be quite a few. All right, so I'm going to mark that first one with my the same stitch we just slip stitched into. I'm going to mark that with my crochet hook, and I'm going to get my white, get a slip knot on here. Now make sure you're leaving enough tail to weave in. Get that on my hook, insert into that very first one, the same one we just slip stitched into, and work a slip stitch, chain 1, tighten that down. And we're going to single crochet right back in there. Mark that first single crochet so we don't miss it. Chain 2. skip the next single crochet right there, and then we're going to single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, skip 1, single crochet into the next 3. 2 and 3. And that's what we're going to repeat all the way around. Chain 2, skip 1, single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And even like around this edge right here, we're not going to change anything. We're going to single crochet into 3, chain 2, skip 1, single crochet into 3, chain 2, skip 1, all the way around. And I will meet you when we come back up to the end, okay? So it's starting to come into shape. Okay, so work your your chain 2, skip 1, 3 single crochet, chain 2, skip 1, 3 single crochet. Repeat that around and I will meet you back at the beginning. Okay, I'm coming around and I have 1, 2, 3 single crochet left. So I chain 2, and this time we're going to skip 2, single crochet into that last single crochet. And then we're going to come over. Well, no, we're not. We're going to that was the end of round 5. Just waiting to see if that train was going to go again. Okay, so we're going to slip stitch to the very first single crochet. Come over. Oops. We're going to come over and slip stitch to that first single. And chain 1. Okay, so we're going to move on to round 6, and we start by single crocheting into that very first single crochet we just slip stitched into. Mark that. Chain 2, skip that chain 2, and then single crochet into the next 3 singles. 1, 2, and 3. And we're just going to repeat that. Chain 2, skip 2, skip the chain 2, single crochet into the next 3 singles. Chain 2, skip the chain 2, single into the next 3 singles. 1, 2, 3. All right, so repeat that around for round 6, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so I'm coming to the end, and I've single crocheted into those 3 singles. So now I'm going to chain 2, skip the chain 2, single crochet into that last single. And now what we're going to do is slip stitch to our very first single crochet of the round. And we're going to chain 1, pull up a loop, and fasten off. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark that first single crochet, the one we just slip stitched into, okay? Because we're going to stop for a second and we're going to weave in ends. Now I know, you may not want to watch this right now, but there is a trick that I want to show you guys with weaving in this end, our very first end right here. The one that, I don't know if you've noticed, but occasionally that zipper fabric will get pushed through the other side like that and then stick out like that. So I want to show you guys how to weave in that end and hide and keep that basically from popping out, okay? So I'm going to get my needles. All right, so I'm going to take this very first tail here. And I'm going to come straight across to the first singles we worked. And I'm going to go as tight as I can to lock in that hole and to prevent that zipper fabric from coming back through there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull that one up and I'm going to come under it, so then that one locks it out. It's kind of tight. There, got it. Now pull, 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 and there. Now it locks that from coming back out. So now I'm just going to finish weaving it in like normal. Still holding it as tight as I can, so I don't lose any of that. Basically what I'm doing is just going under the legs of the single crochets from 3 and, what was it, around 3 and 4. Pull. And then come back down to lock it. I just wanted to make sure you guys saw, because it was kind of annoying me while I was trying to film and crochet, that you guys could see that material. I just hadn't gotten around to weaving that in yet. So there. Now that little piece of material doesn't pop out of there. Okay, so we can go ahead and weave in the rest of your ends. I'm going to go ahead and get mine weaved in real quick, and then we're going to move on to round 7. Okay, so get your ends weaved in, and we're going to do round 7. Okay, so I got all my ends weaved in, and now we're going to start round 7. First, we're going to get a slip knot on our hook. Alright, and we are going to go right into our very first single crochet with a slip knot, or a slip stitch, chain 1, and then a single. So there's our slip stitch. I'm going to tighten that down. Chain 1, and we're going to single crochet right back in there. Now we're going to stop and mark that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to work a double, but we're going to work it into the gray single crochet that we skipped all the way down here. So here's our chain, here's our chain. That's my tail I weaved in. You may not have that there, but that single crochet right down here is what we're going to double crochet into. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pop in there, pop our hook in there, and then pull it out, because when we work the double crochet, we want it to set in front of our single crochets. So this is what we're working right now, is this double crochet that's set into the front of all those singles that those chains that we're going to skip. Okay, so insert your hook into that single crochet, and then we're going to pull it out to us, and then work the double crochet in front of those chains that we skipped, okay? Now we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip the next single crochet, and we're going to single crochet into the next. So basically what we're doing is single crocheting into the second single crochet of the set of 3 right there. So just single crochet right into that second one. We're going to chain 2, skip the last single crochet of that set of 3, and here you go. Now you can see without my chain, or not my chain, my tail that I weaved in right there. That's where we're going to work that double crochet, is right into the single crochet that we skipped at the, what was that, 4? So we're going to come down and insert our hook into there. Now use the hook to pull the single crochet out to you, and then work your double in front of it. Chain 2, single crochet into this middle single of the set of 3, chain 2, double crochet into that single we skipped insert it, and then use your hook to pull it out, and then work your double. Chain 2, single crochet in the middle, chain 2, double crochet into that skipped, working in front of the chain 2s, chain 2, single crochet in the middle, chain 2, double crochet into the single we skipped all the way down here, chain 2, single crochet in the middle. Okay, so that's what we're going to repeat all the way around. Give me some slack. All the way around, and nothing's going to change when you work these edges. Nothing is ever going to change. So just work your pattern all the way around, and I'll meet you when we get back to the end, to the beginning. So single, chain 2, double into that single we skipped, chain 2, single into the middle, the second single of the set of 3, chain 2, double, chain 2, single, chain 2, double, chain 2, single. So repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I'm coming around. I just singled, so now I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to skip the last, I'm going to double crochet over the last 2 chains. And then we're going to go straight into the last single crochet, which we're not going to skip. It's just going to be right there, because right here is the slip stitches we worked, and here's our first single. All we're going to do is like, okay, so there's our chain, and then we singled into the last one. So right there is our last single, and we're just going to single crochet right into there. Now we're going to slip stitch to the very first single, and chain 1. Okay, so now we're going to move on to round 8. And round 8, we're going to single crochet right back into that first single that we just slip stitched into, and mark that. Okay, so now we're going to single crochet into the double crochet right next to it, chain 2, single crochet into that next single, chain 2, skip that single crochet, and single crochet into the top of that double, chain 2, single into the single, chain 2, single into the double, chain 2, single into the single. And that's what you're going to repeat all the way around. Okay, and this is round 8. So repeat that around, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so I'm coming back around. So I singled into that last single, chain 2, and now all we're going to do is single crochet into that double and into that very last single. Okay, so now we slip stitch to our first, chain 1, pull up loop, and fasten off. All right, that's the end of round 8. So now we're going to start round 9, so we get our other color back. Get a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to go right back into that very first single crochet, the same one we just slip stitched into. And we're going to slip stitch, chain 1, pull that tail, and we're going to single crochet right back into it. And now I'm going to mark that so we don't lose it. Okay, so now we chain 2, skip that single, and then we're going to single crochet into the single that we skipped 2 rows below. So all the way back down here, pull it to the front. I think I said single. I'm sorry. I meant we're going to double crochet. Now we're going to single crochet into that single right next to us. And we're going to double crochet into the single that we skipped all the way down here. Bring it to the front. Oops. This is hard to do when you're trying to angle it on camera. Go in, pull it out, and work your double. So we've made our little square. Turn my page. All right, so we chain 2, 1, 2, skip that single, and we're going to work a double into the single we skipped 2 rows below. Bring it to the front and double. Single into the single, double into the single we skipped 2 rows below. Chain 2. All right, so that's the repeat. We're going to chain 2, double crochet into the single that we skipped 2 rows below, single into the single, so we're stacking singles, and then double crochet into that single we skipped 2 rows below, chain 2. Skip that single, double into the next single that we skipped 2 rows below, stack your singles, double into that single we skipped 2 rows below, chain 2. So basically every time we work a double into the singles we skipped, it's always going to be the same color. So we're always going to work into white when we're doing this with the white, and when we're doing it with the gray, we're always going to work into the single gray single crochets. Okay, so repeat this around for round 9, chain 2, skip, single crochet, double crochet into the single you skip 2 rows below, stack your single, double crochet into the single you skip 2 rows below, chain 2, and repeat, 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 and I will meet you at the end of round 9. Okay, be right back. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of round 9. I just worked my double, single, double. Now I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to skip that next single. Now don't get confused, because right here is a chain, not a single. So we're going to skip the next single, single crochet into that last single crochet. So single right in there. And that's the end of round 9. All right, we're going to slip stitch to our first single crochet. Chain 1. Sorry, I have this stitch marker in my mouth. And we're going to single crochet right back into there. So mark that. Okay, so this is round 10 now. So round 10, we're going to chain 2, skip that chain 2, and we're going to single crochet into the next 3. So single into that double, single into that single, and single into that double. Chain 2, come right over, single into that double, single into that single, and single into that double. Chain 2. So this is an easy one. I think you guys can handle this one the rest of the way around. Chain 2, single into that double, single into that single, single into that double. Chain 2, single into the double, single into that single, and single into that double. Chain 2, and repeat that around, okay guys? All right, so this is round 10. Well, I'll just talk about that. Okay, later. Go work all the way around and I'll meet you at the back at the end, okay? Okay, so I've made it back around and I've worked the 3 single crochet, chain 2, and now we're going to skip that chain 2 and single into our last single crochet of the round. And now to end round 10, we're going to slip stitch to the very first single crochet that we have marked here. Chain 1, fasten off, and that is the end of our round repeat. So we repeat 7, 8, 9, and 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to repeat that 4 more times. So repeat round 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is what we worked together right here, this first set. And now we're going to do 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 1, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4. So repeat 7, 8, 9, and 10 4 more times. So by the end of round 10 that we're going to stop at, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots in your squares. I don't know how else to explain that. You understand what I mean? Like you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So repeat 7, 8, 9, 10 4 more times. And then I'm going to come back with you guys and we'll be at the end of round 10 from the 4th repeat, okay? And then we're going to work these finishing rows, okay? All right, guys. Rewind your video if you need to. And I will see you at the end of our 4th 4-row repeat. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I just finished round 10 of my last repeat, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little grays inside my white squares. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slip stitch to my very first single crochet, chain 1, pull up a loop, and fasten off. And I'm going to attach my gray because I want the bottom portion of my bag to be gray like the top portion is. All right, so I'm going to get the gray on my hook. I'm going to go right back into that very same stitch I slip stitched into, and we're going to work a chain 1 and we're going to single crochet right in there. I'm going to go ahead and mark it so I don't lose it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to work we have our very first single. So now what we're going to do is work a double crochet into the double or the single that we skipped down here. Find it. Double in there. And now into the next 3 single, I'm going to work a single. 1, 2, and 3. And again, repeat. I'm going to double down here into this single we skipped. Single crochet into the next 3 singles. So basically all I'm doing is making a solid line. So the doubles are coming right straight to the top of our singles. And that's what we're going to repeat around. Double, single crochet into the next 3 singles. Double, single into the next 3 singles. Okay, so you guys repeat that around and come back, and then we're going to move on. We've only got a couple rounds left and we'll be done. Okay, I've made my way all the way around, and I've worked the double, and then behind that double I've got a chain 2 right there, and I have 1 last single, and we single crochet right into that one. And now we're going to stop slip stitching, okay? So now that was round 1 of our bottom border. So round 2, we're going to go straight into that very first single crochet. And we're going to work a single. And then we're going to mark that single. And now all we're going to do is single crochet into each stitch all the way around. So each double and each single gets a single. So that's going to be round 2, and we're going to do the exact same thing for round 3. Just single crochet all the way around. Single crochet up to the stitch marker, remove the stitch marker, single crochet into it, replace the stitch marker into the new single, and there's round 3. So work round 2 and round 3 with just single crochets all the way around, and I will meet you at the end of round 3, okay? All right, I've made it back around. I've got 2 more I need to work into, and this is the end of the 3rd round of our border. And the very last round, all we're going to do is work a half double crochet into each single all the way around. Don't forget to mark that first 1, 2, 3, first half double. All right, so work the half double crochet around, and when we come back, we're going to sew the bottom closed and be done with our bag. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, I've come back. I've got 2 more singles that I need to half double into. And there we go. So now what we're going to do is slip stitch to that very first half double we worked. Chain 1 and pull up a long loop, because that is what we're going to use to sew the bottom together. Okay, so now we're going to get our needle. I'm going to load my yarn on my needle, and then we're going to flip our bag inside out. Now don't judge, I did not weave in my ends, guys. I promise I will. But we're just going to flip it inside out. Isn't that pretty too? Like, I think that's very pretty. Okay, but anyway, so get this all straightened out, and we want this to lay semi-flat. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but what we're gonna do, get out of there, is I'm gonna line up this slip stitch as best I can to the edge, and I am gonna start just weaving this in and out on the back loops only. So only the loops that are up and facing me, like that's the slip stitch. I'm just gonna go right in there. So this loop and this loop. Can you guys see that? So like, here's the 2 loops of that half double, and here's the 2 loops of that half double. I only want to use the 2 loops that are on the outside. All right, just go in one side. Oops, I messed that up. I went in the wrong end. Come back out. So I came out this side, so I'm going to come in this side. And in this side. In this side. Out this side. Okay guys, so just repeat that all the way down, and I will meet you when we get closer to that end. Okay, I'm coming to this end, and I'm just gonna go into these last few stitches. I'm pretty much on the side, so I'm going to go right into the side, pull a little bit until I leave a little bit of a loop right here, about like that. Then I'm just going to put my hook in there and run my yarn through it and pull tight, and what that does is just knot it down. All right, now I'm going to cut this long tail because I don't need all of that, just to a little shorter tail, and I'm just going to weave that in. Just gonna go through some stitches here. And come through some of these. And we'll call that good. Cut. All right, guys, that is our bag. Let's flip it inside out here. I'm gonna put my tails in there so you can't see them. I'm gonna pretend they're sewn up or weaved in. And there we go. There's our crocheted zipper bag. Isn't it cute? There's our nice pretty bottom. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a fun one. I liked designing this bag. It took me a little bit to get that zipper just right, but once you get it just right, it's gonna work great after that. So thanks you guys so very, 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 very much for watching. I appreciate it. You guys are the greatest. And you know that. You guys all know that. Crochet subscribers, I'll say, it's like a little family. Anyway, moving on. Check out my description box. I got links to my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Etsy, and then I've got links to any supplies you may need, and my email address is down there, so you can email me if you need any help. And subscribe if you haven't. Hit that thumbs up because that helps so much. And then leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And that's it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.